What comes to your mind when you hear the name Medusa? A snake-haired creature whose gaze turns people to stone? A symbol of horror, punishment, and fear? Or a woman cursed by the very gods who were meant to protect her? Long ago, when the Aegean Sea was still calm and the temple of Athena still radiant, there was a maiden named Medusa, not only beautiful, but also a chaste priestess, who vowed to spend her life within the sacred halls of Athena's temple. She was known as fair-cheeked Medusa, as described by the poet Hesiod. Of the three Gorgon sisters, only she was mortal and subject to the passage of time. The other two were immortal. Medusa was famed not only for her enchanting beauty, but also for her unwavering devotion to her vow of chastity, perfectly fulfilling her role as Athena's priestess. She didn't live for herself, but within the solemn order of the temple without a single blemish. Then came a dark day in history. Poseidon, the mighty god of the sea whom many in that era considered second only to Zeus-centered Athena's temple. And in a moment of power, he violated Medusa within that sacred space. While some versions describe it as an act of seduction and others as assault, what is undeniable is that the act defiled Medusa's vow and the sanctity of the temple. Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategenible to directly punish Poseidon due to his divine status and being the brother of Zeus, turned her wrath instead to the one easier to handle, Medusa. The goddess cast a terrible curse. Medusa's soft hair turned into writhing serpents. Her once lovely face became so fearsome that a single glance would petrify anyone who met her eyes. Some modern scholars suggest that Athena's curse may not have been pure punishment, but perhaps a form of protection, transforming Medusa from a helpless victim into something fearsome and untouchable, immune from future harm. However, many researchers argue this interpretation is shaped by modern sensibilities and doesn't reflect the original texts, which portray Athena's act as divine retribution, not mercy. Under the misty Greek sky, a winged shadow sliced through silence. It wasn't a bird, but Perseus, a young man with steady eyes, armed with a divine sword and wearing winged sandals granted by Hermes. On his back gleamed a polished bronze shield, not merely a weapon, but his only hope of survival against the monster's fatal gaze. He didn't step into legend on his own. To find the Gorgon's lair, Perseus had to first confront the Grey-Eye Three old sisters who shared a single eye and tooth. In a moment of their distraction, Perseus snatched their eye, forcing them to reveal the way to the edge of the world, a place where time ceased to move and death took form. The cave of Sarpedon opened like the mouth of hell. Thick mist and icy stone choked the air. Inside lay Medusa, being every song warned of, every warrior feared. But she didn't scream, she didn't thrash. She was sleeping. In the dim light, Perseus crept forward, never meeting her gaze, watching only her faint movements reflected in the bronze mirror of his shield. Her hair was not hair but serpents. Dozens, maybe hundreds, shifting endlessly like venomous waves breathing. His heart pounded so loud it seemed to echo in the cave. Each step was a wager between life and death. And then, in one eternal instant, the sword fell swift, merciless. The serpents shrieked a final cry. Black blood surged upward, like a curse breaking loose from its chains. From the pool of crimson, two miraculous beings emerged: Pegasus, the winged white horse who beat his wings and soared into the sky, and Chrysaor, a warrior with a golden blade, standing silently as if born for vengeance. Perseus didn't linger to witness the miracle. Cautiously, he placed Medusa's severed head into the enchanted satchel, the Cabysis, careful not to let her gaze know eternal harm him. Then, with Hermes' winged sandals, he departed, leaving behind a body no one would mourn, and a soul the world had already cursed. No one asked, "Did Medusa deserve to die?" No one remembered she had once been human. Only Pegasus, whenever he flew above the Aegean Sea, left trails of light-like tears for the mother who birthed him in silence and death. Medusa's bloodied head was not buried and forgotten. Instead, it was mounted upon Athena's aegis shield across battlefields. Her petrifying gaze became a divine wall of defense, a sacred weapon. From a violated being, Medusa once again served the gods. No one asked whether she consented. No one mourned. For thousands of years, Medusa's face was etched onto city gates, engraved on armor, stamped on coins and temple reliefs as a talisman against evil. But does anyone remember that this so-called evil was once a girl stripped of everything? Her body turned to dust, but her image endured in Caravaggio's paintings, in Cellini's bronze sculptures, in the powerful fashion brand that now bears her name. They call it homage. But perhaps it is only immortality wrapped in injustice. Today, in a world no longer ruled by untouchable gods, people are beginning to look at Medusa differently. Not as a monster destroyed, but as a forgotten victim. A symbol of those once silenced, condemned in the name of order and honor. Was Medusa truly the monster? Or were the gods, the heroes, and society itself the ones with blood on their hands? Perhaps the most terrifying thing wasn't her deathly stare, but the world's indifference. Medusa has long been a symbol of fear, but when viewed with deeper insight, she becomes a symbol of pain, injustice, and the hidden strength of womanhood. Who truly was the real monster? And if we were to meet Medusa's gaze not with fear, but with empathy, would we turn to stone or awaken?